Most people know Listeria as something mentioned on food recall notices and pregnancy caution lists. Few understand exactly why it is particularly dangerous, which foods carry the highest risk, why the standard food safety instincts people rely on do not reliably protect against it, and what specific steps actually reduce exposure. Listeria is one of the more unusual foodborne pathogens precisely because its biology makes it capable of situations that most bacteria cannot manage, and that biology is what makes understanding it specifically important. Listeria monocytogenes is a bacterium found widely in the environment, in soil, in water, on plants, and in animal digestive tracts. It causes a disease called listeriosis, which exists in two distinct forms with very different risk profiles. The milder form causes gastrointestinal symptoms, including nausea, diarrhea, and abdominal cramping that typically resolve within a few days. The invasive form is far more serious. It involves the bacterium entering the bloodstream and potentially spreading to the nervous system, producing symptoms including severe headache, stiff neck, loss of balance, convulsions, and confusion. Invasive listeriosis has a mortality rate of approximately 20 to 30%, making it one of the deadliest foodborne illnesses. Approximately 1,250 people in the United States are infected with Listeria annually, which is a smaller number than infections from Salmonella or E. coli. But the severity of cases is disproportionately high. The populations at greatest risk are pregnant women, newborns, adults over 65, and anyone with a weakened immune system, including people receiving chemotherapy, taking immunosuppressant medications, or living with HIV. In pregnant women, Listeria infection can cause miscarriage, premature delivery, stillbirth, or severe neonatal illness, even when the mother herself experiences only mild flu-like symptoms. This is why medical guidance is emphatic about certain food avoidances during pregnancy. Now, for the two biological properties of Listeria that make it specifically more dangerous than many other foodborne pathogens, and that explain why standard food safety instincts are insufficient against it. The first is cold tolerance. Most disease-causing bacteria are inhibited or killed by refrigeration. Standard food safety practice is built on this principle. Cold storage slows bacterial growth, which is why refrigerating food within 2 hours is a fundamental food safety rule. Listeria does not follow this rule. It can survive and continue to multiply at refrigerator temperatures, including well below 4 degrees Celsius. This means that a ready-to-eat food that is Listeria contaminated and stored in your refrigerator is not becoming safer over time. It may be becoming more contaminated. The refrigerator is not a neutralizing environment for Listeria the way it is for most other pathogens. The second is its incubation window. Most foodborne illnesses produce symptoms within hours to a couple of days of exposure, which makes the source relatively easy to identify. Listeria has an incubation period that can range from a few hours for gastrointestinal symptoms to up to 6 weeks for invasive disease. When someone develops invasive listeriosis 4 weeks after the contamination event, connecting the illness to its source is genuinely difficult and is often not possible through memory alone. This wide and unpredictable window is part of why Listeria outbreaks are hard to trace and why recall notices are often delayed. Understanding which foods carry the highest Listeria risk is the most actionable starting point for reducing exposure. Deli meats and cold cuts are consistently at the top of this list. The deli environment, with its surfaces, slicers, and equipment handling multiple products at high volume, creates efficient cross-contamination pathways. Listeria can colonize deli slicing equipment and contaminate products even after cleaning. The 2020 national Listeria outbreak in the United States was traced to deli meats and resulted in multiple deaths. Pregnant women are specifically advised to avoid deli meats unless they are heated to steaming immediately before eating, because reheating to 74 degrees Celsius kills Listeria even when it cannot prevent contamination. Hot dogs carry similar risk because of how they are processed and because they are often eaten without reheating. Soft cheeses made from unpasteurized milk are a significant risk category, including brie, camembert, feta, queso fresco, and similar varieties. The combination of unpasteurized milk and high moisture content creates a favorable environment for Listeria growth. Hard-aged cheeses, which have much lower moisture, are substantially lower risk. Raw sprouts are high risk because of the warm, humid conditions in which they are grown, which are ideal for bacterial proliferation. Ready-to-eat packaged foods prepared in deli environments share risk with deli meats because they are often processed on the same surfaces. Cut melons, particularly cantaloupe, carry elevated risk because the rough exterior surface of a melon can harbor bacteria that is transferred to the interior flesh by a knife when cutting. Washing the outside of a melon before cutting does not eliminate this risk, but significantly reduces it. Raw fish preparations, including sushi and ceviche, carry risk that is particularly relevant for pregnant women and immunocompromised individuals. The preventive practices that actually reduce Listeria risk follow from understanding what Listeria is resistant to. Cooking eliminates it. Any food cooked to an internal temperature of 74 degrees Celsius is safe from Listeria, regardless of prior contamination, because heat at that level reliably kills the bacteria. For high-risk populations, this means reheating deli meats and hot dogs to steaming before eating, rather than consuming them cold directly from the package. Refrigerator management matters in ways that go beyond simply keeping food cold. Cleaning the refrigerator regularly, wiping up spills immediately, and removing expired or spoiled food reduces the Listeria contamination level that can build up on surfaces and transfer to other foods. Keeping raw meats and ready-to-eat foods separated in the refrigerator, storing raw meat on the lowest shelf in sealed containers, and using covered containers for all stored foods reduces cross-contamination opportunities. The USDA's 4-step food safety framework, clean, separate, cook and chill, captures the essential practices. Washing hands thoroughly with soap before and after handling raw meat, using separate cutting boards for raw protein and other foods, cooking raw foods to safe temperatures, and refrigerating promptly after cooking. For Listeria specifically, the cooling step should include regular refrigerator maintenance and the awareness that cold storage slows but does not stop Listeria growth. For the populations most vulnerable to invasive listeriosis, the practical approach is to treat deli meats, soft unpasteurized cheeses, raw sprouts, and refrigerated ready-to-eat foods as genuinely high-risk items, and to either avoid them or ensure they are cooked to steaming before consumption. The annual infection number makes Listeria sound like a rare concern. The mortality rate when infection does occur makes the preventive steps worth following consistently. New videos every day covering the food safety information that actually protects you and your family. Subscribe and stay with us. One more consideration that is not often included in Listeria guidance but matters practically. Grocery store behavior. The deli counter is a known Listeria transmission environment. Slicers that handle multiple products, surfaces that are difficult to fully sanitize in a high-volume retail environment, and the moist conditions around ready-to-eat prepared foods all create contamination opportunities. Buying pre-packaged sliced deli meats that have not been sliced at the store counter reduces some of this risk because they are processed in more controlled manufacturing environments with better monitoring. Pre-packaged products still carry risk and should be treated accordingly, but the epidemiology of Listeria outbreaks consistently traces to deli counter environments more than sealed commercial packaging. For anyone in a high-risk group, the calculus is simple. The foods identified in this video as high risk should either be avoided entirely or heated to steaming before eating. For healthy adults outside those risk groups, the risk is real but lower, and consistent application of the cleaning, separation, temperature and storage practices described here manages it effectively. Listeria is not a reason to live in fear of food. It is a reason to understand which foods require extra care and to apply that care reliably.